How many days are we until Blake and Baldoni square off in court? Haha, just 26 days. The countdown continues, and we're here for it. So are you. So we're going to begin with Blake Lively. I can't believe that I saw it, but then it didn't register right away. But on Sunday, she reposted this take from a guy on Instagram who's fantastic, Django Degree. Okay, he posted about Justin Bieber's life after Bieber closed out Coachella, and he was basically talking about how Justin was he was like the Truman Show. In fact, we all just his life was in a fishbowl, and how your friend's creepy, mom would be, just grabbing and touching him, and talk show hosts asking him inappropriate questions, and his relationship with Selena Gomez is front row, and people are wondering about their, intimate lives together at 14. Too much, right? Devoured by an over salacious, pop culture media environment. That was his post. Well, it was a really good take. I've actually DM'd Django Degree and see if he wants to come on and mix it up with me. But Blake reposted that, and as you might expect, tried to intellectualize on top of it. She tried to out-philosophize the philosopher. And she writes this: so many people we loved have been hurt and never come back to themselves. We watch it happen every time. And the collective looks back when it's too late with empathy that was missing at the time. Shocked, everyone treated someone's most painful days as entertainment. But that isn't behind us. It happens daily. It makes money. It gets clicks, followers, virality. The collective often unintentionally ravaging the health of an entertainer because everyone feels a right to them for being in the public eye. Oh, back to Justin, right? Because this is about him. Yeah, right? She says, seeing little Bieber meet that with healing was stunning. First of all, I don't think you were there, but you saw the clips like the rest of us. Does anyone get the idea that, she's obviously making this about herself? Right? Do you see? It's exactly. Remember when I told you that Ryan Reynolds had slid into my, liked a photo of mine on Instagram, liked a post of mine that talked about, this woman who was being mistreated at Ole Miss, Mississippi University. And he was like, see, that was his messaging to me. Stand up for my woman too, Bushy. That's what he was saying. Yeah, Blake is so far from her reckoning. It's unbelievable. She doesn't see it. She and Ryan both play people for dumb, right? Like, everybody knows the intent of that repost was for the collective. How annoying is that, the use of the word collective? For the collective to stop and say, by the way, we're all part of the collective. You're in the collective. I'm the collective. Hello, fellow members of the collective. The point is for the collective to stop and say, oh my God, we're doing this to innocent Blake now. Yeah, Blake, who attempted to ravage the health of her director. For someone who sees herself as an intellectual, it is astounding that she doesn't see the only way out of this is remorse. Open Spotify, Blake, and pick out, it's not too late to say sorry, whatever the Bieber song, sorry, say sorry. That's all that's left. Let's turn our attention right now to the co-conspirator, to the enabler, to the instigator, Ryan Reynolds. This guy is either so smitten with his wife that he cannot see what others see, or more likely, this is where Blake picked up her superiority complex. And it's not just that these two have such an elevated self-view, it's that others are just less in every way. It's condescension on steroids. Ryan's out of control. So let's go back to the opening day of It Ends With Us, okay? August 9th, 2024, the day the movie comes out. Okay, well, everybody involved in the movie should be anxiously waiting for all the research and forecasts to be dead on correct and deliver a massive opening weekend haul. Very exciting time for everyone. Mercurial Ryan is obsessing over the beef his wife created with Justin Baldoni. At 5:12 a.m. in the morning, he texts his agent at William Morris, Warren Zavala, and he says, "Excuse the long text." Why is it always so long with these two? He and Blake have just no appetite for brevity. I'm telling you, for writers in the film industry, don't you just, if you can say what you have to say in the shortest amount of time, you will have the greatest impact. Everyone knows that. Anyway, I won't read all of it, but I'm going to read a lot of it because it's just so crazy. He says, Warren, excuse the long text. Okay. You can sort of feel the Baldoni stuff coming to a head online, he says. Twitter and TikTok are inexplicably blaming Blake at the moment. But I can't imagine details won't come out because Baldoni and Jamie Heath offended, harassed, or violated too many people. Who told you that? Blake, by the way? And the internet is obviously looking for answers and obviously seeing how every cast member and key crew member, including Colleen, won't be in the same room as the guy. Is that Blake again? All of them at some point over the last 6 months unfollowed him on social media. Yeah, and who told him to, Ryan? Blake? Not one person has said Justin's name out loud in any interview at any time. At what point did Justin and Jamie not take a moment to step into the light and say, maybe it's us? And Ryan, at what point do you step into the light and say, maybe it's her? Or maybe it's you? I can't tell you. So Ryan goes on to his agent. I can't tell you if overwhelming success this weekend amplifies or snuffs this out. We're navigating uncharted territory in so many ways. Okay, this is interesting. He says, Todd Black called me in a bit of a panic. The call didn't go well because he's looking to brainstorm ways to diffuse the stuff with Baldoni. Paraphrasing here, but basically Todd's line of thinking is, why doesn't Blake just hit it head on and say, Justin and I had disagreements, we didn't get along, but we both love the film so much, it has a chance to impact an audience, it's an important topic, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Okay. Ryan says, what I expressed to Todd is this attitude and approach is the exact problem. If I'm getting it right, he and Ange, who works at Sony, would prefer that Blake roll over and lie because the box office is on fire. Yeah, you're in the movie-making business, my friend, and a sequel is in the offing. And this is a really successful movie. Ryan says, how could they spend so much time with her, yet have no sense of who she is or what she's made of? Bro, you have 4 kids with her. How do you have no sense of who she is and what she's made of? Ryan says, I told Todd it's infuriating that anyone would look at Blake to fix a problem that Baldoni, Jamie, and to a certain degree, Ange literally manifested. Instead of aggressively implementing steps to create a safe work environment for Blake and every other woman on set, they responded in laughably impotent and meek ways. They revealed their hand immediately and often. I'm super frustrated because this is a moment in which Blake should be celebrating. She made this unbelievable win happen. She made this a win for Sony and by proxy, Wayfarer. She fucking refused to give up on the film. She didn't sleep. She missed countless moments with her kids while sitting in editing rooms, scrapping in frame fucking dailies for every square inch of quality. She slammed together a recipe for success despite working with ingredients she wasn't even able to choose. All this while masterminding a world-class marketing and promo plan for a movie that's punching so far above its weight, I've lost descriptors to even describe what's happening. Oh, the wordsmith has run out of adjectives. It's incredible. By the way, Blake, did she do the lighting too? Did she cook an organic souffle to feed the cast in between takes? Did she, was she doing, we know she did wardrobe.
And Billy, he's not done yet.
There's a lot. I'm just going to take a sip of water. This guy is so crazy. He is so crazy. Blake willed this weekend into reality, he says. There's Warren Zavala, his poor agent in the upper corner, if you're looking at a picture with us. Baldoni and these other buckets of dumb juice should be acknowledging the speculation and gossip themselves. They should be jumping in front of it in the most full-throated, unqualified way. Now, they should be protecting Blake. Sure, protect your assailant. Why not? They can and should accept the consequences of their actions and lean into the countless and willfully gross behavior before it leans into them. They made a big fucking mess. Blake, under no circumstances, should be asked to clean up this sloppy, cliched fuckstorm. We need to put together a Ryan Reynolds glossary, like his vocab, you know what I mean? Like a list of Ryan Reynolds' highly elevated, snobby, intellectualized, pseudo-intellectualized terms. If they are made of anything resembling the humanity or dignity or capacity for growth that they project on their faux feminist shithole of a podcast, they'd be releasing a statement saying something like, and then he goes on, and this is amazing, he goes on to suggest, right, what they could possibly release. Just a riff, like here's a couple of bullet points as to what they could release as a statement to make all of this right. What he ends up sending is absolutely a word-for-word press release that he wants them to release. He even signs it with their names. Like, here, just print and send. I've already done the work for you. It's really long. I have shortened it immensely because we can't do that to each other. But he says, this is what he wants Jamie Heath, the CEO of Wayfarer, and Justin Baldoni, co-founder, director of the movie, to put out. Our behavior on the set of It Ends With Us was abhorrent and not even close to standards and respect both Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively deserve. We're working to better understand how we fostered a workplace environment so lacking boundaries, guardrails, respect, and in many ways, incidents of indecency. Our aim is to take real accountability, which extends beyond performative virtue signaling. The success of It Ends With Us isn't because of our involvement. The film is succeeding in spite of it. How crazy is this man? Here, Justin, I've written the words for you. Just tell people that the success of this movie is succeeding. It's succeeding in spite of anything we've done. For the foreseeable future, our mission is to examine and re-examine the objectionable behavior and inadequate decision-making skills which clearly hurt and offended people who placed their trust in us. Oh my God. I mean, it's unbelievable. He says, look, back to his text with his agent. He says, if they orbited or even glanced an acknowledgement like this, it would be the first discernible proof either possess a spine or something slightly north of a sociopathic understanding of basic consequence and impropriety. Who's this guy calling sociopathic, by the way? The only thing they don't seem interested in is the truth. And all Blake has is the truth. If I were those two guys, I'd be jumping in front of this right now with energy. Okay. Believe me, I've shortened a lot of that. So now Warren Zavala, Ryan's agent at the time, says, first of all, I love your writing. These guys are trained suck-up artists, and this man is an assassin of the ass kiss. This is beautiful. But I'm not blaming Warren. I mean, every agent does this, especially the guys got $1.5 billion of box office receipts. I love you. First off, Ryan, let me say, I love your writing.
Bill, I just wanted to say, you really put together something nice, really, really nice this morning with what you put. The writing is spectacular.
Oh, mine?
Yeah, we were all talking back here. Your writing was just unbelievable today.
Steve, yeah. I'm reading Ryan's writing. So you also think his writing's
yeah, okay, I love Ryan's writing.
I'm just, emoting off of it. First of all, I love your writing. I've read this a couple times. No, you haven't. You barely got through the first. I think we should chat. I can't respond in a way that plays at the same level. Simply, you're right. They can't have some expectation that she is going to make it fine for the offender. Nor do I think these guys have the humility or capacity to be proactive in that way. I think their instincts are self-serving and quite the opposite. Later on that morning at 9:50, Warren says, I think a lot of these are bots, by the way. Sarah and I are looking at it. My belief is that he's orchestrating a narrative and probably has a crisis team plotting his moves here. It's the exact opposite of what should be happening, right? This narrative of he's the only one talking about the book, and domestic violence smells of foul play, not to be an alarmist. But call me when you land. And then he says, Todd is so disappointing on this. Warren is talking about Todd Black, who I mentioned earlier, a very seasoned producer in the film industry, very respected, obviously brought in to try and broker peace, save people from imploding their careers and lives in the midst of a very successful movie. Warren Zavala definitely regrets saying that about Todd Black, because I don't think there's anybody that has a negative word to say. But Todd Black did all of Denzel Washington movies. He's an executive producer on this film. That's embarrassing, Warren. Warren, I understand you have to suck up to Ryan Reynolds, but, I wouldn't impugn Todd Black along the way for no reason. But he did tee up Ryan, who responded, Todd and Ange, Sony executive, are fucking textbook, ineffectual, elderly people with no ideas or thoughtful communication skills. Just blunt instruments with 6 catchphrases and about 5 keywords. Ryan shitting on the elderly. My God, such an asshole. It's this guy's incredible ego, says Warren. It feels like he's laying a trap if her truth surfaces while promoting a narrative digitally. Ryan says, yeah, but honestly, someone is just going to tell a journalist the real deal and it's going to blow up in his face. Oh, I don't think so, Rye. Nostradamus, you are not. Warren responds, still going. It's still not even noon yet, 10:13 a.m. One would think, but the truth does become muddled sometimes. That's why I'm concerned if he's laying a trap. I hope this fraud shitweasel is exposed. I just want to protect our downside. The movie working is everything. Let's see if the noise subsides. The movie worked in a huge way, and it clearly wasn't enough. Okay. Warren keeps going here. So Warren, by the way, sends Ryan an article at this point in their text on the Baldoni-Blake beef. There's the headline of the article. It's on the screen right now. It says, it ends with us director fought with Blake Lively over the final cut. And the writer says, I'm late to this. There seems to be a rift between these two. Social media sleuths noticed that the cast wasn't really taking photos with him either at the film's recent premiere. Yeah. I mean, you stuck the guy in a basement and wouldn't let him take pictures for his own movie. It's going to go noticed. So Warren sends that article to Ryan and says, it's all spin. I think we just let it burn. And Ryan says, well, how'd that work out for Johnny Depp? Warren says, not well. Cratered both of them ultimately. Now, that's the closest thing we come to an agent actually giving his client advice and not just sucking up and enabling his worst instincts. Warren says the movie succeeding is the most important thing here. This could be a way of saying, don't we want to back off? And Warren says that's why he's an egotistical shitweasel with a God complex. Okay, right? Just like Daddy's back to sucking up. Okay. Then Warren says, I spoke with Leslie. That's Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist. She's in it with Josh in the studio. She has a relationship with this woman, Melissa Nathan, who's been retained by Baldoni. That's Baldoni's crisis manager that he had to hire at this point. Not because he wanted to smear Blake, because he realized that Blake was trying to literally end him in Hollywood. Ryan says Leslie should definitely engage the studio and fight back in any way necessary, but I think we just stay quiet and let Baldoni do his thing. Probably best not to get lost in the comment section. I understand the industry's a Twitter and a gossip crowd, but nothing shuts people up like victory. Millions of people will see and talk about and be affected by this film this weekend. Okay, starting to make a little sense here. A film Blake strongly authored. Let them fucking quibble about how strongly she authored it. Let that human rounding error Baldoni play his little game. This is a giant ass victory. Congrats. Warren says it's on track for $51 million. Wow. Let's see if it holds. And Ryan goes, wow. $51 million opening weekend. So what did they do? Snatch defeat from the jaws of that giant victory. Blake and Ryan have spent more money on their legal pursuit of Justin Baldoni than that movie made on that glorious opening weekend. There's a wow for you. Whew. This guy. Everyone I talk to, and I've been doing this for a long time, all my friends and contacts. Oh, look at that. So just independently confirmed for me from a source, this is interesting, just happened right this moment, confirmed for me something I thought was true. And that is that Ryan Reynolds dumped his agent, Warren Zavala. This guy, so he's still at William Morris, but he got rid of Warren Zavala, wanted a different agent. And the irony is, do you see how supportive, I called it ass-kissing, but supportive of Ryan, his agent, was? Not enough. After all of that, and now the guy's texts of him falling over himself, impugning Todd Black, a well-respected producer, everything in service to his client, Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan dumps the guy. Warren's not even his agent anymore. I knew it. Jesus. Who's the poor bastard at William Morris that does have the account? Oh. There you go. All right, one more thing regarding, as I wait for that answer, one more thing regarding the Ryan Reynolds interview with Willie Geist last Sunday. Willie asked, how's the family coping with all the legal drama? And Ryan responds with this.
Really, without getting into it too much, I'll just say I've never in my life been more proud of my wife. Really, people have no idea what's really going on,
okay.
And that's and I've just
let me just say that he is smart. It's just he's got to accept the fact that the rest of us aren't dumb. His opening line is a guaranteed crowd pleaser, right? The audience actually hesitated a little bit before applauding, which is, that's rare, because they know who's at fault here in this whole thing. But the opening line is a guaranteed prompt for audience applause. Any man that says, I've never in my life been more proud of my wife, can absolutely expect that a room dominated by women are going to applaud that line. So he establishes a little rhythm with the audience, so then he can go say whatever, feed his bullshit of, there's a digital world and a regular world and the nuances and the thing, but I'm just, she's, and then he goes on to, say Blake is the peak of integrity. It's astounding. But the opening line, I just want you to know I saw it, but I get why he chose it.